but I would highly encourage our audience not to take any advice from a book, a podcast, a radio show. You need to sit down one-on-one with a wealth advisor and go over your financial plan.
Welcome to Upticks with Jake Falcon, founder and CEO of Falcon Wealth Advisors. In this podcast, we help high net worth individuals overcome financial complexities. We do this by enhancing financial literacy and discussing topics in a language free from industry jargon. Join us as we help explain exactly what having a solid financial plan means, as Jake draws from years of experience in helping hundreds of individuals get financially organized and focused on their goals. We hope you find Upticks educational, entertaining, and shareable. Now, on to the show.
Welcome back to Upticks with Jake and Cory. Cory, welcome back to the show.
Hello, Jake. Thank you for having me back. Happy to be here.
How was beautiful, sunny Naples, Florida?
It was great. I get the snowbird thing now. After worrying about whether or not I'm going to get sunburnt on the beach in February, I understand it. But we had a great trip. Thank you.
Would you go back?
Yes.
Naples, all right.
Absolutely.
So, okay, I know you're a huge Southern California fan also. So what's better, San Diego or Naples?
It's still out. It's still out. I really have a soft spot in my heart for San Diego, but I was thoroughly impressed by Southwest Florida.
Okay, good for you. I'm more of a California guy myself, but to each their own. And we're recording this the day I'm getting ready to ship off to sunny Arizona. I got invited to go play a few golf courses, Cory. I'm playing Quintero, which I haven't researched that much, but Rachel bought me this really cool map of the United States with like the top 100 or 200 courses, which is subjective. Like, I don't think it's an official ranking. However, Quintero is on that board, so I'll be excited to put a pin in that and check it off the list. So we're playing there, Greyhawk and Troon. So I think they're all good golf courses, a great group of guys. Looking forward the same to get out and start my 2024 golf campaign. I haven't played this year. I haven't played in like 3 months, I don't think. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but I am cautiously optimistic, Cory. I think I'm going to crush it out there. We'll see how it goes.
That's the right attitude. I'm curious, Jake, on a golf trip like that, how many rounds or how many holes of golf do you play in a day?
Yeah, see, so I'm not a fanatic. I don't like doing this 36 a day, blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty lucky these guys are only playing 18 a day because that's too much. I mean, I've done it where you play 36 a day and it's not fun.
I remember when you did 100.
That's right. I did play 100 holes in one day and I walked it, Cory. I did do it in the rain. Look at that. So, but yeah, that was for charity. That wasn't for pleasure. That was to raise some money. But so it'll be good. 18 holes. I'm staying with a friend of mine out there, so we're looking forward to it. So
excellent. Very good.
Yeah. So so on to the show here. Again, I want to kick it off. Well, first, congratulations, Cory. Here we go. So you got a drum here, kind of something. We breached 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you to all of our listeners out there. Please like, share, subscribe our content. The whole purpose of Upticks is to enhance financial literacy. And that's why we're spending time out of our busy days to do this, Cory. And we're real excited to get more and more subscribers. So thank you guys for everyone that is tuning in. All right, let's kick it off into our headlines then. That button works.
Play ball.
All right, here we go, Cory. Do financial advisors really improve retirement readiness? These surveys say yes.
Yes, I liked this, Jake. This said the American College of Financial Services released results of its latest retirement income literacy test, which is a survey of more than 3,700 people in the United States between ages 50 and 75. And the main takeaway from this is the survey results indicate that Americans who work with an advisor score notably higher on a variety of measures of financial wellness and retirement preparedness than those who go it alone. And really, my big takeaway from this was that the role of a financial professional in consumers' lives is important. There's a clear gap between readiness and reality, which is also what these survey results are telling us. But I did want to ask the question, Jake, would we expect the American College of Financial Services to suggest otherwise?
Probably not. It sounds like it's a little bit of a biased survey, Cory. However, I think if you find the right advisor that is producing their own content and educating you, you can enhance that readiness. You're right, though. I don't know how much weight this survey actually would hold. I don't
Right.
know.
I thought it was interesting, but I'm aligned with you, Jake, and that really the key, I think, is finding an advisor that adds real value and has a positive impact in your life. But it doesn't mean that every advisor is going to do that.
Yes, and not to toot our own horns, Cory, but there's a reason that you and I are both chartered retirement planning counselors. Those are advanced designations. We took the time, we studied, took the test, passed the exams. We talk about this stuff every day with our clients. There's a reason we do that, right? And that's to
Yes.
get our clients ready for retirement. And if somebody's going to hire Falcon Wealth Advisors to do that, we certainly want to educate ourselves. So that's good. That's good. It's a good survey, but you're right. I think there's a little bit of, I don't know, one-sidedness to it. We'll see.
Yeah, I read it and I thought, would the National Association of Realtors say it's not a good time to buy a house? And I'm not picking on
Probably
realtors, but
not.
anyway, the point holds true there. So
Probably not.
moving past that though, Jake, how to stay mentally sharp in your 80s and beyond?
Yeah. So, obviously, neuroplasticity, Cory, staying mentally sharp and focused. Hopefully, that's everybody's goal somewhat. I've got a good mentor that he studies this a lot and has talked to me about things that can improve your
Mhm.
brain activity and your mental health. I enjoyed this article because it talked about how a lot of people, sadly, Cory, don't know that there are things that you can do to potentially ward off dementia. Now, I don't think anything is like scientifically perfect or proven. A lot of people think it's genetic, and it's not necessarily genetic. So, first off, having a healthy body will help promote a healthy mind, right? So, that's everything. So, clean air is a big one, actually. Exercise, eating healthy or diet. I found this interesting, Cory. Tai Chi was something on
Mm,
there. Do you ever done Tai Chi?
I haven't.
Rachel's done Tai Chi, believe it or not. We always joke that she's an old soul. I think it is for older people, but she did Tai Chi before. She said she really liked it. I don't know. Maybe I need to try it out. Good hearing, I thought was interesting too, Cory, because
Mm,
the article said that if you can't hear, right, just think about if you're walking around all day and you couldn't hear what people were saying to you. Well, you would think naturally then you're probably going to have lower brain activity because you're not getting these audio inputs. So just again, getting hearing aids if you need hearing aids so that you can hear people so that your brain can fire up. The whole idea is if you don't use it, you lose it. So, staying engaged, working longer, having a good sense of community and being healthy, all those things can potentially influence a healthy brain. You have any thoughts on this?
yeah, that's really good. I find regularly that staying active, staying engaged, and staying involved in your community, whatever that community may be, whether it's work or otherwise, really does seem to continue to pop up for folks that, one, I've observed myself that have stayed sharp, and two, in studies and articles like this one.
Yeah, and there's no shame. I'm not saying that like dementia is completely avoidable, but if there's things that you can
Right.
do to help encourage a healthy brain, then certainly let's do those things. And sadly, Cory, I have clients that have dealt with parents
Yeah.
that have dealt with dementia, and it's not fun for anybody. For
No,
anybody, it's a
it's
sad
not.
deal to see your family members lose their ability to know who you are. It's horrible and sad. And again, I'm not shaming anybody. Sometimes it's probably just going to happen. But if there's some things that you can do to promote a healthy brain and healthy activity, why don't we
Do
do
it.
those things?
Yep. That's really good. That's really
All
good.
right, let's go on to the next one here. All right, Cory, congrats on your retirement. Time to find a new job. Cory,
Mm.
Debbie Downer here.
Not necessarily. I guess it really depends on how you look at it. But the big takeaways from this, we covered this on the show last week, how there's over 4 million people that are reaching age 65 in 2024. And really, the surge of people reaching that age is expected to continue the next several years. One thing I found interesting was that in the year 2000, Jake, so 24 years ago, less than 1 in 4 people ages 65 to 69 had a job. And now that's about 1 in 3 people. So roughly 33% of people between 65 and 69 are working. And really, this just highlighted that people are going back to work for a myriad of reasons, whether that's budget concerns, higher than expected costs, unforeseen layoffs and illnesses, caregiving for family, but also because they still have value to offer. There's higher wages available for historically lower wage jobs, which has been a big part of this kind of
So did
frankly
hold
inflationary
on,
environment.
hold
Yeah.
on. So did the article say people are working longer because they aren't prepared for retirement, or are they working longer because they want to work longer? Did it talk about that?
It was more specifically about people who have retired and have gone back to work. What are the reasons that they've done that? And it's
Right.
largely been
So
either
what
expenses,
is more important? So is it because they need money or because they are
boredom.
lonely?
Yeah, boredom and money were both really the big drivers for
But
why
it didn't
people are
say
going
one
back.
was
It
over
didn't
the other?
specify which one now.
Interesting. Okay.
Because
Go
people are
ahead. Do you
so
have anything
different.
else?
But no, that's really just what I wanted to share from that. And somebody made the comment that I thought was interesting in this article. There was a lady who at age 76 talked about coming out of retirement in 2022 and took a part-time job with her church. And she said that she has recognized that she's someone who needs to feel needed. And when she was retired and not working, she couldn't do that. My big takeaway from this article was that it's important to understand how you're going to spend both your money and your time in retirement before you pull the trigger.
Good one, Corey. I agree. Capital is also your time. It's not just, don't just think of
Right.
dollars and cents here. Capital is your time and it is finite for everybody. So how do you want to spend this time? Maybe it is on your couch watching Price is Right. So be it. I would argue a lot of people that doesn't make them happy or happy in general. I like that though. I was just curious. I don't know if there's a study out there, Corey. Maybe you can find a chart. How about you? That's my challenge to you. How about you find a chart for next week's show to tell us, are people going back to work because of they're not prepared for retirement financially, or is it because of boredom and loneliness, Corey? I challenge you to find us a chart for next
I'm
week.
on it.
All right, good luck. Let's move on.
All right, Jake. Dave Ramsey tells millions what to do with their money, but people under 40 say that he is wrong.
Are you a Dave Ramsey fan, Corey?
Not really.
So for those who don't know, Dave Ramsey is one of these financial gurus out there. Pretty interesting story. I think the guy went bankrupt, and now it's argued that his net worth is like $200 million, which is crazy. He's very conservative, which is fine, right? From that, I think he's from Tennessee or Kentucky or somewhere in that area. And he started the radio show, and he got really, really popular. I mean, we're talking now millions of people watch or have watched his stuff. And he does take somewhat extreme viewpoint, Corey. And I had some takeaways here that I put down. I mean, his
Yeah, let's hear
takeaways
'em.
are that he says to pay cash for almost everything. I guess if he's arguing is only eat rice and beans is one of his things. He thinks about the snowball method. Well, first off, would you just eat rice and beans?
No, I wouldn't.
And do you pay cash? I pay cash for a lot of things, but not everything.
No, and if I was paying cash for my first house, I wouldn't own a home.
Yeah, I think he says a mortgage is okay, but he does argue to pay it off like in 15 years or something. And again,
No matter the interest rate?
I think so. And I don't know again because I don't read all this stuff, but and
Right.
then the snowball method, which I don't agree with either. The snowball method, for those that don't know, that's paying off your smallest bill first. So if you've got 4 credit cards, whatever has the smallest balance, you pay that off first. I subscribed, I think they call it the avalanche method, Corey, where I advise clients to pay off their highest interest first, not their lowest balance, because I want clients paying the least amount of interest. So again, I disagree with him on that. So basically, many young people, I think they're getting wise to that. The good news is, I'll give him credit for this. The good news is he has been able to bring awareness to personal finance, which is great because again, like diet, I think a lot of people, they don't want to think about it. They don't want to talk about it. It's taboo,
Yep.
whatever. So credit to Dave. If I had the applause button here, Luke, I would hit it. Credit to Dave for it's just giving Luke a hard time. He's going to fix that applause button for us, Corey. Credit to Dave for bringing some awareness to personal finance. This is my point, though. You don't want to listen to some guy on the radio, even though we have a podcast, Corey. This is not advice, right? You want to set an appointment with a wealth advisor who is a fiduciary to take you through your financial plan and explain exactly what your financial plan means to you. Because everybody's different. You can't just take advice from a radio show. You can't even call into a radio show, Corey, and expect to get good advice. Susie Orman does that also. She can't give, and again, she can't give proper advice from a radio show and having a 30-second conversation with somebody. You just can't, you know how much work goes into this. Like, there's a lot. Like, we need to know tax return, debt, income, psychological feelings with
Family
money.
situation.
Yeah, kids, grandkids, parents, siblings. Like, there's a health insurance. There's a lot that goes into making a financial decision. you can't just do it from calling in a radio show. So credit to Dave and credit to Susie for bringing awareness to and enhancing somewhat financial literacy. But I would highly encourage our audience not to take any advice from a book, a podcast, a radio show. You need to sit down one-on-one with a wealth advisor and go over your financial plan.
You know, I take exception though, Jake, with someone who has a net worth of $200 million telling everyone to embrace frugality, pay cash for everything, and eat rice and beans every night. Like, to me, I just take exception with that.
Why? Maybe that's why he has 200 million, Cory, because he's eating rice and beans.
Maybe.
Why do you take it?
I just think that seems very out of touch with reality.
And I think that was, did you read this article?
I read some of it.
Yeah, and I think that was the point. I think that was the point in the article, is that maybe he's lost sight of reality a little bit, right? He's an older guy, and you know, he's in his 60s,
sure
so he's talking to people in their 20s. You're right. He can't relate to the 25-year-old that, you know, has a kid and is upside down. Their net worth is negative. This guy's $200 million.
Right.
I see what you're saying. Doesn't make him a bad guy. You're right. I just think
it doesn't mean that I'm right.
And I'm glad I'm glad that he's brought awareness. I just don't agree with taking advice from somebody who is out there on a radio show or whatever. I think you can talk in general terms like we do and talk about headlines and things and give your opinion. But I think if you want advice, you need to meet with an advisor.
Yeah, and this is really personal stuff here that we're talking about that's very circumstantial. And I actually, while you were talking, Jake, I was thinking this through. My wife, Cassie, is pregnant with our first child. We have a baby girl coming
applause
in June.
Here, Luke. Got some applause here, Luke.
We'll do the applause here. Thank you. And Cassie's been a rock star, by the way. But what I wanted to talk about, though, was I with our first child on the way, would not call into a radio show or tune into a podcast to hear what someone said is the right way to handle a child in 2024, particularly if that person hasn't raised a child in 30 or 35 years.
So how would you get your child raising advice?
I would solicit it from the people whose opinions I was interested in. And I would also have open conversations with which Cassie and I do about, look, this is going to be our daughter and we're going to parent our way and we're going to do what works for us. But it does not mean that there's anybody who's walking on the planet right now who knows exactly what our way should be and what's going to work for us.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And you know what, to be fair though, Cory, if you needed help, I'm sure there are parenting counselors out there that you could pay. They would give you this one-on-one. They probably come to your house and give you one-on-one advice or do a Zoom with whatever.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to start with our birthing classes next month. How about that?
All right. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
That's exciting. All right, good. Let's move on here. So the next one here, Cory, risk versus exposure. This was from a post by Carl Richards on LinkedIn.
This was really good. And I thought about our conversation that we had on this show, Jake, last week, where we talked about Social Security, Medicare, people worrying about what may or may not happen to them or whether or not there's going to be any benefits. One of the things that you and I talked about, Jake, was that if we're worrying about something that we cannot control, that is truly unknown, the worrying just causes a lot more stress than necessary. And that's really what Carl, I think, did a great job. And Carl is a prominent writer, certified financial planner, but this was a LinkedIn post. And he pointed out that simply existing means that you are dealing with risk. Risk is one of the unknowns of the world. And then he added, and I thought this was really smart, he said that risk asks the question, what could happen? Exposure asks, what impact would it have on me? And the point here was that as we deal with a world that feels increasingly riskier for a lot of people, understanding our exposure should be our priority. We can't always answer what could happen, but we have a pretty good idea typically of what the impact on us could be. And that's really where we should focus and spend time on. This is part of what we do in financial planning with clients to help people regain a feeling of, a valuable feeling of control.
I like it, Cory. I think I read this too. I think I saw this one too. So again, let's talk about this in like terms of what we do. So risk would be you're scared of the stock market, right? Going to zero.
What country's going to invade what country next?
Yeah, or no. That you're changing that. Risk, in my example here, is you're scared that the stock market's going to go to zero. Exposure would be then don't have any money in the stock market.
Yes.
Right. So you're going to have market risk. If that's going to be there. We don't know if the market's going to go to zero or if it's going to quadruple. Right. We don't know that. But your exposure is then how much are you willing to be exposed to that particular risk. Now, if you say, okay, Jake, I'm scared the market might go to zero, I don't want to have any stocks, then now we have to look at, okay, can your financial plan support that? And if you don't have investments that are growing faster than you're spending money, when are you going to run out of money? Right? So that's how we weigh risk and exposure. That's how we determine asset allocations on stocks and bonds, right? So we don't know if the market's going to go to zero or quadruple. Just like we talked about last week, Cory, I don't know if the earth is going to go snowballing into the sun,
Right.
right? There's not much you can do about that risk. I like what Carl said there. It's an unknown, but we can talk about exposure. If you're scared of the stock market, don't be in it. That's one way to not be exposed, right? But then we got to go back and look at your financial plan and say, okay, if we don't invest in something that's going to grow and you're pulling money from your account, do you have enough money to last you the rest of your life? When are you going to run out of money? Or maybe you're not. Maybe you do have enough. It's fine too. So good one, Cory. But yeah, I didn't want you were going down this war. I just want to talk broadly. Stocks, if you're scared of stocks going to zero, then you need to look at your exposure.
That's right.
Nice. Good one.
Thank you.
Go to the next one.
Retiring right, smart steps for exiting corporate America. What have you got here,
All right,
Jake?
Cory, here it comes. This is my plug for my new book coming out. Super excited about this. So, and again, thank you. You helped me with this. We had financial planners on our team help fact check some of the data. So what I did, Cory, is I put together years and hundreds, if not thousands of meetings, and I put it all in a book. And I'm calling it Retiring Right, Smart Steps for Exiting Corporate America. And I'm real excited that it's going to get published. Luke, this would be a great place for some applause. I'm really excited for it to get published here at the end of April or early May. So again, I'm doing the layout right now with my publisher. So I'm a little bit on their timeline. So I don't know the exact date. But if you want to be in the know, all you got to do is make sure you're subscribed to our Upticks newsletter. We will be sending out announcements as the book gets ready. Simply, if you need to be on that list and you're not on that list, email service@falconwealthadvisors.com, and we'll make sure you're subscribed, Cory. I'm excited. So it's a guide. It's a guide about retirement planning. Again, I've had thousands of meetings about retirement, and I put it all in a book, and I'm excited to share that with the world.
I'm excited for you, Jake. I know it's been, a labor of love in a good way, but there's been a lot of work that's gone into this, and I'm excited to really kind of see this get off the ground, and very much aligned with what we do on this show on Upticks, where we aim to enhance financial literacy and help people. I know that's very much the intentions behind this book, and I think it's going to take it to the next level.
Yeah, I can't wait. And again, it just really, like you said, I just want to enhance financial literacy, people to understand our viewpoint of it, how we've helped people, maybe some, pitfalls to avoid and ways to enhance your retirement. And that's what it's all about. So awesome. Well, thank you, Cory. I'm excited. Stay tuned. More to come on that. All right, Cory.
All right.
Here we go. A fund with 94.9% yield. You guessed it. There's a catch. Sounds shady, Cory. What do you got?
This was about covered call funds, which are something that's becoming more relevant in the market. And the point here about these yields, particularly 94%, that almost makes your eyes pop out when you see that, is that frankly, it can be misleading. And the distribution yield, which is what's quoted with some of these funds, is what you may have gotten this month, but that doesn't mean anything about what a fund is going to yield moving forward. And income generated by selling options, which we do some of for select clients at Falcon Wealth Advisors, the income collected can swing wildly as the underlying stock fluctuates. Really, the bottom line, though, is that more yield equals more risk. And a 70% yield should be riskier than a 5% yield. And that is almost investing 101. That's just inherent there. But it is interesting to me that these types of funds are something that's becoming more and more popular. And a lot of them are written around just writing options based on one individual stock.
Right. So good. I love it. Don't get caught up. And I think I saw something else about this somewhere, Cory, but if something is high yielding, there's a reason, and it is risky. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to go buy this stock, Cory. It's got a 10% dividend. There's a reason.
Has it for a
There's
reason.
a reason that it's higher than the average or normal. So again, don't get caught up in these fads or these, clickbait, whatever you want to call it. Don't get caught up in this thing. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Do your research, do your homework, lean on your friends from Falcon Wealth Advisors. We can kind of show you the pros and cons of any investment. especially as it pertains to the public markets at least, and help you see potential blind spots that you might be missing. Good one, Cory. You got time for one more here.
All right. Speaking of high yield, Jake, let's talk about the Goldman Sachs high yield savings account.
Yeah, so I wanted to share this with our audience, and this is exclusive only to Falcon Wealth Advisors clients as far as our offering is concerned. But we've been very fortunate that Goldman Sachs has done a partnership with our back office. And for our clients, they can get currently, Cory, as of the recording of this episode, 5.25% interest on a savings account through Goldman Sachs. Now, there are no bells and whistles. You don't get a checking account. There's not even statements. It's online statements. So it's very streamlined, very efficient, and it's variable, right? So if the Fed starts lowering rates, I would expect this rate to go down. But if you're sitting on cash in your bank account, like I do, and your cash is only earning 0.25%, like mine is, I would highly encourage you to reach out to your friends at Falcon Wealth Advisors and get enrolled for this Goldman Sachs high yield savings account. Now, they don't charge fees, and we don't collect a fee on it. The way banks typically get paid is they're loaning that money out at 8%, for example. So they're going to pay you 5 and loan it at 8 or whatever. So just know that, I'm sure Goldman's doing fine. However, this is a pretty neat perk for Falcon Wealth Advisors clients. Credit to our back office for getting this relationship established. So this is not an investment strategy, Cory. This is for money you do not want to invest. That's your short-term cash that you just want to park somewhere. So again, this does not have anything to do with stocks or bonds or whatever, because the rate is variable. We don't want to get into putting too much money in there that we're trying to do for investments. This is short-term money that your bank's not paying you hardly anything. Let's move it over. Let's get some good interest. If you need it, you can move it right back. Any else I missed on that, Cory?
No, it's really good. The interest rate is very attractive. There are not many offerings out there at that rate for cash, for something that doesn't require you to take any investment risk. And it is something that anybody, like you said, Jake, that's sitting on cash in the bank should evaluate.
Yeah. And it's self-serving those, right? So we can't do too much. We can just enroll you. After that, you're going to have to do it yourself. But you just link up your bank account. It's pretty easy, Cory. I did it on my own. And you link up your bank account, and then you can just do a ACH is what it's called. And that's a, next day transfer basically of the funds. And I think it has to sit there for 5 days at Goldman Sachs. So you don't want to put money in there that you're going to need in 2 days. So there are some things you just want to be aware of. So just, think about that first, and certainly lean on us. If you get any questions, you can simply email service@falconwealthadvisors.com, and a member from our team is happy to help answer any of your questions. All right, Cory, great episode. You got anything else before we wrap up?
I don't. Good luck in Scottsdale. Hit them straight.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to just having a good time. And thank you all for tuning in, subscribing, liking, sharing our content. We really appreciate it, and we hope you have a great week.
Thank you for listening to Upticks. Click the subscribe button to be notified when new episodes become available. Also, be sure to visit our website, falconwealthadvisors.com, and click the Contact Us button if you'd like to meet with Jake and his team.